Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another episode of the Draft Box card review. This time we're talking about the blue cards, and I know it feels kind of bad because I bet as soon as this video comes out, they're already going to be spoiling a new color because it is Friday when this is being released. I was just so backed up on event coverage and tournament videos from PPT Philly that I wasn't able to do this when it came out. I do apologize for that, and I will get you guys that card review of whatever color they spoil today, if they do spoil one today. But today we're talking about the blue cards, and overall they're kind of interesting. They seem relatively strong, definitely not as strong as the red cards in my opinion, but they kind of like reprinted Flute in a way, and I really don't see many people talking about it. It's definitely not Flute in its pure form. You know, it's not as plus, it's not as free, but it is a very Flute-like card, and we are going to talk about it. Do I think it's going to impact the meta the same way that Flute did? Probably not, but it's definitely a more fair, balanced card, but it seems very powerful. I'm very excited to use it. So before we get into the video, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the awesome Dragon Ball Super content that I do post here. If you're looking for a Dragon Ball Super community to get in touch with, get plugged in with, check out the Discord in the description below. Excellent group of people, really helpful people. And finally, guys, if you're longtime fans of the channel, want to help support me and the content, if you want to get caught up on some competitive content now that we are heading towards nationals, check out the Patreon in the description below. Really helps me out a lot. All right, guys, so we'll get into this video. So first off the bat, we have an SR coming out of the draft box. Another thing I want to mention too, if you guys did not know, it's kind of like hidden on this website, is that there are cards being reprinted in the draft box as well. We're not only getting the draft box cards themselves, we are getting reprints. One of which that I remember off the top of my head is At All Costs Vegeta. In red, we have like Intensifying Power Trunks. Fearless Pan is one that I'm really excited about. That's a really good reprint. And I don't know how to find what cards are being reprinted. I know someone posted on the Facebook group, but I don't know how to search for that because I am in the draft box section of the card list. I don't necessarily know how to find the reprints. So if you guys do know how to do that, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I can do a whole video talking about the reprints and what you guys should pick up. So if you want to see that, help me out down below. With that being said, we'll get into the brand new draft box cards themselves and how they interact with the game. So Ultra Instinct Son Goku, the Unstoppable, counter play and counter attack. I believe this is the first time in the game we're getting a card that has both counter play and counter attack, meaning you can use it you know, in whichever window suits you better. This card's skill cannot be negated in any area by your opponent's skills. That's really cool because sometimes like your opponent can negate your counterplay with, if it's a battle card, with like a Denial of Hope, and this is a 20k, so that would get hit by Denial of Hope. It would also get hit by like Preemptive Strike, but this cannot be negated, so that's really good. It's really good value. And just to note, this does not have any skills that reduce its cost, so you're always going to be paying 4 for this guy unless you have like some other effect live that reduces it, but I don't really think that exists. So just to note there, this will be a 4 energy counterattack and 4 energy counterplay, but it's pretty good. So when you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier, return it to its owner's hand, and if it's your opponent's turn, draw 1. So this is, first thing off the bat, this is a counter to Gogeta 7, because when they play Gogeta 7, they send their auto independing, they crit themselves a life as a cost, and then you can play this guy in response. So since your opponent is turn player, they're going to resolve Gogeta, they're going to shuffle your hand, and then you're going to draw 3 cards, and then you're going to resolve the Ultra Instincts effect to bounce the Gogeta back to their hand since it ignores barrier, and you're going to draw an additional card. So you'll draw up to a 4th card. And that's pretty strong. That's really strong. We don't really have anything that interacts with Gogeta. Like Mutaito doesn't even feel like good against Gogeta because like they keep it on the board and they can just attack with it next turn. It's got barrier, so it's hard to deal with. This pretty much puts it back in the hand, so they have to recommit all that energy and another life crit to playing it again. The only thing with this card is the biggest problem is it is a 4 cost card, so it might be a little bit easier to use in draft because you're not always going to use all your energy in a draft format, but using it in constructed is going to be pretty tough. Funnily enough, this is a 20k Goku, so it actually works in Gogeta ramp decks or Gogeta Shenron decks, so it's kind of funny. Super Saiyan Goku, the ever adapting 5-drop, evolves over a Goku for 1 blue and 3 colorless. Critical barrier, 25k. When a card evolves into this card, draw 2, then at the start of your opponent's next main phase, choose one of your energy and switch it to active mode. So I would call this card good, maybe not the best constructed. It's a 4 energy play over probably like a Kind Sand Son Goku or maybe like a No Escape Son Goku. Main problem is it is an expensive play. It's a 4 energy play that's only giving you crit, and you do get an energy back on your opponent's turn, so it does dodge Borgos. It does draw 2 as well. There are pros to this card, but I would not call this like a card worth building a deck around, at least in the competitive format. And for a fun deck, it's definitely a good card for sure. Son Gohan, Universe 7 United. Auto, when you play this card, choose one blue battle card, then it costs 3 or more in your drop area, add it to your hand. So this is usable in the World Tournament deck. Sorry, not World Tournament, Universe 7 deck. You know, anyone from Universe 7 Frieza to the Gohan that combos and draws cards. This is good for that. So it looks like there's also a stamp on this card. That's kind of neat. I wonder if this card only comes stamped. I don't know. Maybe they're doing another pre-release stamp thing with this. Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, Universe 7 United. He is a blocker, 4-drop, 20k. So another 20k Vegeta you can use to fuse for Gogetas. Blocker, auto. When you play this card, draw 1. So a 4 energy draw 1 is not the best. At the start of your opponent's main phase, choose one of your energy, switch it to active mode. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a card I think only good in draft, not very good in constructed in my opinion. Krillin, Universe 7 United, 4-drop, 20k. When you play this card, draw 1, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards, place it in his own energy in rest mode. So pretty weird how they gave Universe 7 a way to ramp the opponent, because that's really only a theme in the Zamasu decks where you're trying to burn them when they have 8 energy. And this is pretty permanent removal, because once a card gets in your opponent's energy, they really can't do much to get it out of there. So that is kind of neat, but ramping them up again is very, very strange. It's a blue Krillin name, if that ever becomes relevant, but again, not super good. The blue pool right now, not looking too hot. 2-drop 10k TN, auto burst 3. When you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less, return it to the owner's hand. That's not bad. This is like a slightly better Son Goku the Sweeper, but it does have a burst cost. But that burst cost can be beneficial as long as you don't, mill like 3 super combos. So that can be decent. A decent constructed card for sure. Master Roshi, Universe 7 United. This is a cool card, but they kind of dropped the ball in my opinion. So this is a 1-drop blue yellow Roshi negate. Like, this is the same exact card. It's a counter attack. You pay the energy cost and you play this card. It's a negate an attack. It doesn't like draw a card or anything like that. It's just a blue Master Roshi Forge of Will. And that kind of stinks, because like the Gohan U7 deck, for example, it needs another 1-drop that like either draws 1 or searches top 7, something like that. That deck really needed that. This is not going to get you any cards back. So like when you're playing that deck, if you have only the yellow negate in your hand, you got to play it and like combo it to draw 2. Doesn't really feel that good. You invested in energy into that. If this was like just a Roshi that drew 1, like just simply draw 1, that would have been very, very good. So again, not super great. 2-drop 15k blue Android 17. So that's kind of neat. If you guys are working on any blue, green, or any color combination like that of androids, this is a card to play. Just a 2-drop 15k crit. Now this is a very high value card in draft for sure. Can be decent in constructed for just being a 2-drop 15k body. You cannot reduce the cost of this with the Android 17-18 leader, because it does have 2 specified blue. If you could reduce the cost of it, it was like a 1 blue. That would actually be pretty insane, but good job on Bandai kind of watching out for that. Android 18, Universe 7 United. Activate main once per turn. Pay 2 to draw 1. Again, very weak card in constructed seemingly, but in draft, you oftentimes will have 2 energy you're just not doing anything with. And for that reason, this card can be very, very good in those situations. Majin Buu 30k. Sometimes Bandai confuses me when they do this kind of thing where they print like the same type of archetypal thing like 3 times in a row. Like we already had Deborah 30k, then we got the Vados 30k, now we have the Buu 30k, all in blue. Like if you would have made them other colors like green, for example, that would have been pretty helpful, because green is kind of lacking in that department of 30k beaters. But nonetheless, decently a very, very good card in draft for sure. Very good card in draft. And we have to remember, this is not like a set made for constructed. This is a set basically made for draft. Obviously you can use the cards in constructed, but we can't always look at everything in the constructed lens, even though I'm probably going to do that for the rest of this video. So Frieza, Universe 7 United. Blocker, barrier, 3-drop. Activate main, play this card from your drop area. So basically by paying its own energy costs and activating its effect, you can just play it from your drop area. That's pretty cool. A 3-drop that you can do that with, that's 20k. 20k is a good number. Barrier blocker for a 20k is another good number, because a lot of 15ks can't even beat into it. Really cool interaction with like Universe 7 Frieza leader. You can use this card, pitch it to draw 2, and then play it from your drop. So you really didn't even neg 1. You actually just like almost hard plus 2'd. This would be really, really cool if there was like some type of Frieza you can evolve on top of it. I don't think there is one. I don't think the 7-drop U7 Frieza can go on top of this. I think that's to go on top of a 5-drop or higher, but this is still a cool card nonetheless. Whis, Keeper of Universe 7. This is another super rare. So this is a 7-drop double strike barrier. Only 1 can be played in your battle area, and if you have 2 or more multicolored cards in your energy, reduce the card's cost in your hand by 2. So this is actually seemingly a better counterpart to the Vados we saw in red, where this actually can come out for 5 energy. When your opponent's card attacks a leader card, you may negate the attack. If you do, negate the skill for duration of the turn. So this is actually a really cool card for mono blue decks. So I guess it would probably be like blue yellow or something like that, where because you do need to have multicolored cards in your energy. So having this in your in your battle area for a 25k double strike is good. It's got barrier, so it's hard to remove, and then once per turn, free negate attack. This is a really cool card. If we ever see like blue ramp decks do particularly well, I think this will be a card that you can seeing play. Grand Kai, the Lazy Instructor. This card is so weird. 2-drop 15k, so good stats for sealed. Activate main, pay 5 of any color. Send this card from your drop area to your warp. So it's kind of neat how it has an effect after being used, but 5 energy is super expensive. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of the owner's deck. So I guess if your opponent just has something that's really troublesome, you can pay 5 to get rid of it. For paying 5, honestly, this should ignore barrier, but I mean, it is what it is. North Kai, Protector of Earth, 1-drop, 4k. When you play this card, draw 1, typical. Activate main, pay a blue and a colorless. Play this card in the owner's drop area. Choose 1 blue Sun Goku with energy cost 3 or less and 15k power or less in your drop area and play it. So we'd have to look at all the Gokus with 15k or less power and 3-drop or less in the card pool to see what this really works well with. Like, first things that come to mind are like the Rapid Spirit Ball Goku that untaps into additional energy. So that's like a 1 energy 15k beat stick because it'll untap one after you bring it out with this guy. That's pretty neat. Definitely something to look out for. Bubbles, 110k, decent in draft, nothing crazy to talk about. Shu, Delusia Power, so we're probably getting one of these for every color. If your battle card's blue, it's a 10k combo. Pretty good, not too bad. Mai, the Graceful Tactician, this card's really cool. 1 energy, 5k combo. When you combo this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 1 and place it at the bottom of the owner's deck. Really important to note, this is not a only during your turn card, I believe. Yep, not only during your turn. So you can do this defensively and still bounce a battle card or spin a battle card, and that's really good. So applications, this comes to mind is against like Skillless, really good. You can bounce this back if your opponent has like Intensifying Power Trunks. You can mess up their chain attack plays. If your opponent's trying to all in you with Sand Kava, you can combo this, and then your opponent basically can't kill you. That's really, really neat. I do like that a lot. This card's crazy. Janemba, Infernal Intruder, 5-drop, critical, 0-5k. Activate main for 1 blue. If you have 3 or more energy, if you have no battle cards in play this card from your hand. So basically a 1 energy 20k crit, really good, kind of like Reality Bender. Activate main, pay a blue and a colorless. So basically that's going to be the rest of your turn 3 energy. Play this card at the bottom of the owner's deck. Choose 1 Evil Incarnate in your hand with an energy cost of 5 and play it. So I believe with this card on turn 3, you can get 3 crit attacks off, and then you set up for your turn 4 play all over again, which is really, really good. This card is really cool. Definitely gives that crit number deck a little more playability. Kamehameha, 1 energy, activate main. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 3 or less and place it at the bottom of the owner's deck. This is really, really good. This is like a Transcendent Strike for blue, essentially. A little different. Instead of being power restricted, this is energy restricted, so 3 drops and less, and you place them at the bottom of the owner's deck. So that's really good removal. Doesn't hit things like Shadow Figure Majesty. If it did hit Shadow Figure Majesty, this card would be insane because they can't World Peace it back like they can with Transcendent Strike. But nonetheless, good generic card. Now here we go. Here's the card that I want to talk about, guys. This is the somewhat reprinted Flute. Okay, so this is a 1-drop blue counterplay, Desperate Measures. If the battle card your opponent is playing has an energy cost of 2 or less, it's returned to the owner's hand instead of being played. So applications there, like striving to be the best on Goku, any of the U6 2-drops and less, like the Sicily Bonds Kale, that's really good. Can be used against like Vegeta Baby to bounce their 1-drop baby. This is pretty solid for 1 energy, to be honest. I like it a lot. It's returned to the owner's hand instead of being played. Then choose one of your blue battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and return it to the owner's hand. So pretty interesting stuff. Okay, so comparing it to Flute, this is not Flute. You can't return any of your battle cards. Has to be blue, has to be 3 or less. So you can't do things like Sand Kava. You can't do things like Intensifying Power Trunks, which was a huge playability thing with Flute. It just bounced things back for free. This also does not replace itself. This is a -1, just like unlike Flute, actually, where Flute drew you back a card for recycling. So Flute was just straight plus. It was a 0 energy investment. It was so busted. I'm not going to say this is as good, but I do think this is a card that's worth talking about because you do get recyclability out of your cards. Like, you get to bounce any of your blue battle cards when it costs 3 or less. So anything powerful 3 or less that's blue that you can replay and get an effect again, like, these are probably not the most powerful examples, but like I can think of like Comrade combined Son Goku, any like Borgos, any cantrip to draw an additional card. Seems pretty good. Seems worth considering. Seems worth playing in blue decks, especially if there are good 2-drops unless your opponent will be summoning. So guys, those are my thoughts on the blue cards. Let me know if you guys can find out how to look at the reprints on this. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but let me know what you guys think about the blue card in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Joey. This is Crosswell TCG, and I'll see you guys in the next video.